All right, facts only.
Brother.
New episode.
Yes, sir.
We'll be talking about Nigerian artists, of course. They are touring outside Africa these days. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
First is first. This was, I was planning an article about this. But the thing is, I've seen a lot of conversation about this over the past 6 months to 1 year. People have been asking questions. I've gotten a few DMs about this. The major reason why I decided to write an article about it was because it seemed like an issue for a lot of people. But the thing about this is, there are no good or bad sides. There are layers to this conversation. There is no good or bad side. There is only business. And if there is a bad side to it, there are also impediments to it, like several impediments to this thing. So, what is the first thing? Local touring used to be a thing in Nigeria. These days, we only see Nigerian artists perform once in a while. Maybe December is the biggest one. Dirty
December.
Shout out to upcoming Dirty December will be wild, and that's facts only. So, or maybe one big man is giving them a huge bag to come. And even the A-list right now, you might not even see them because, brother, they are booked. You can't pay their money. How many people can? Well, a few people can afford it, but they might not even have your time because it's not even about money anymore. It's also about the prestige of the performance. So they have to even rate you or your events, even if you are going to pay them the money that they deserve. Or except if it's going to be an intimate event, you are paying them maybe like $1 million or something. And they might pull up to your event and perform. You get what I mean? So the thing about it these days is, local touring used to be a thing. In the old days, a lot of artists used to perform locally, especially high life artists. They would tour the country, perform. And there was a time where campus tours were a thing. Like, you remember our parents? Exactly. Our parents used to tell us. Tunji Oyelano and them, they would perform at, when my dad was at UI, they used to anticipate like Friday nights where they'll have major artists come perform at their schools and all of those things. And it wasn't just their schools, it was across the country. And in recent times, we've had it as well. Links and Friends that Links did. And there was this Glow campus store.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
There were a lot of them. There was Sound City, Campus Blast,
exactly.
There was MTN, there was...
And then Boomplay did one, like some years ago. Those things have been here. They're just not as mainstream or as common as they could be because of a few problems. Number one, infrastructural problems. Bro, if I'm going to tour in this country, most people, the fun thing about tour is that I can go on the road. I can go on a tour bus. Like the tour season, tour buses are synonymous or as iconic as touring itself. Like the fact that, have you seen tour buses before? I remember watching E back in the day, like in the 2000s. Maybe Justin Bieber or the biggest artists, some of them are on tour. And do you know what they would do? They would take media people inside their tour buses. You will see where they eat, where they sleep. Like the fact that they have to live like the crash course life, maybe over a few months, is something that they genuinely look forward to. The road life, quote unquote, as I say. And even when you go back to like the era of like maybe the Fellas and some of these people and the rock stars, like those guys made the art of touring and tour buses incredible because they will say what happens on the tour bus stays on the tour bus because those guys used to move mad. They used to move batshit fucking crazy. They were mad, right? So artists grew up looking forward to that. But here in Nigeria, if I'm going to go and do a top and go on the road, number one, my boss, nothing works in Nigeria. I might get to somewhere, maybe the ball joint of the boss will just remove. Or maybe the boss will just realize that Buhari is the president. It's time to fuck up his boss.
Oh my God.
Bro.
All our federal roads are just in
the
comatose,
roads are trash.
Sad.
Imagine traveling in the middle of the night to get to a tour, to a session, and you are going from maybe Lagos to Akure. Or let's not, okay, there's an airport in Akure, but maybe you are going from Ado to Akure. Bro, I grew up in Akure. The road from Ado to Akure right now is horrible, especially the Ondo State part. It's crazy. Even in Akure alone, the road to Akure, it's crazy. Some people have to go to pass Ilawe. It is that terrible. I served in Akwa Ibom, and I used to come to Lagos by road. Bro, the roads are trash.
It's not funny.
So you have to, The road networks are terrible. So where is the fun in them doing that? That's number one. Number two, what makes touring good in a lot of countries is that there are venues to tour, like locations, government-controlled locations, or government-approved locations. Number one, the Ministry of Youth and Sports and Tourism, whatever, they are supposed to be as key or as invested in this thing as anybody. But guess what? If this thing comes up for them to go do it, they can't even check buildings. Like, there should be a standard for buildings, right? These people can't go to do the buildings. They would rather collect money and do rubbish and approve rubbish buildings. And then when the buildings crash, you start complaining. Bro, so the fact that there are no venues, government-approved venues or government-owned venues for people to do this, it's a big problem. And guess what? Even when private individuals set out to do it, you are going to frustrate them.
Yes.
Live Nation, AEG, they own venues across the world. That's why they had problems during COVID, because they had buildings that some of these companies are paying for, but they are not monetizing. Yeah. Like in Nigeria, imagine owning buildings like that in Nigeria. You are paying tax on those buildings. You will die.
You'll be frustrated.
That's why a couple of years ago we had an event that literally crashed and became a problem because there are no proper venues. It's a big problem. Let's leave that. Let's go to the issue of insecurity.
Bro. On gone no man.
Nigerian artists are walking targets for victim profiling.
Yeah.
Literally. There are a bunch of Nigerian footballers that come back. Shout out to Steve Diddy. He tells us some of these stories.
Yeah.
Nigerian footballers that people don't know in some countries, they will come back from foreign countries because people don't know them. They have dreaded hair, they have colored hair, they have tattoos, they have earrings. SARS almost killed one of them. I think about 2 years ago, because he was playing maybe Russia or whatever. It's not Osimhen, so they don't know him. Or they didn't know him. Now imagine some artists that are going to travel across the country. Burna Boy, who was the artist that was saying that, like maybe if you're Burna Boy, they might not be able to stop you, but at the end of the day still, maybe one person on your tour bus is probably smoking. And a SARS member might just decide to be unfortunate that day.
Yeah.
It just wants to go crazy with you. And it's going to drag you. It can. Just because maybe he feels disrespected and he has a gun and you don't. Let's forget that part. Let's go to armed robbery. You are traveling, right? You are traveling, bro. Nightly, you have shows. Some of these places. Bro, how would you expect people to be interstate traveling and insecurity is rife in the country? Boko Haram might just blowing once. Do you expect these boys to go perform in the north? It's local touring, right? You expect them to go perform in the north?
Never.
Boko Haram will target one of the top bosses and they will die.
Yes. And they tell them to go and be 700 million. Right?
We have big problems. And then when it even comes to the problem of infrastructure, we're even talking about healthcare. I was watching, there was a day when Selena Gomez was on tour, right? Selena Gomez was on tour. And I remember watching how she came out from a tour bus. She was joining another tour bus. Bro, she was literally sleeping. She couldn't talk. There was a time that, imagine you sleeping. There was a time that Drake broke his leg on the stage. I can't remember where. If you break your leg, they might end up amputating your leg, bro. Where are the infrastructures? And then when we leave that place, we are looking at laws. Laws have to be in place for these things. Our laws are recidivist as hell. They don't cover, even if the government decides to build some of these structures, and individuals decide to invest in all these things, where are the laws? Who are the people that are going to enforce these laws? How are they going to enforce the laws and they're not going to frustrate the business owners? We live in a country where multinationals are moving out because of problems.
And laws.
A country, an underdeveloped country, woke up one day and decided to find a company, a multinational 6 billion. Are you mad? I mean, yes, you can do it, but should you do it? No. You are not the US that can I can find Facebook for antitrust. Because if you don't have Facebook, you have Amazon, you have Apple, you have you have Oracle, you are good. But the most desirable brand in the world, you decided to find it, bro.
Nigeria thinks he has they think they have the market so they can do that.
Bruh. That's leverage. But then you have to look at the long-term impact of certain things. Twitter didn't come, you were mad. Now, let's leave that and go to the issue of purchasing power.
Major problem.
Bro, we see shows. You and I go to events. We work in this sector, so we go to events a lot. And we literally know that what are the avenues that Nigerian promoters? A lot of these promoters, they make money, right? But some of them don't make money. Some of them do. When they even make their money, they might not make it on ticket sales. Because look at it this way. I rent a venue. I pay the artist. I do sound. I do this. I do that. Lights. All of these things to bring you a show.
Even security, bouncers, and all of those things.
All this money. And it's not one day money. I have to spend the leading up to the day. And even after, I have to still pay some bills. Nigerians don't buy tickets like that. Except you are Whiskey or Davido or Burna Boy over the past 2 years at least. Nigerians don't buy tickets. We know this. And even if Nigerians buy tickets, Brimo is going to sell his show out because he's Brimo. He has been cultivating that fan base for a long time. And his ticket is just 5,000 naira. But you expect people to be paying 30,000 or 50,000 in this Buhari economy. I mean, some people can pay.
Yeah, some can pay.
But we are talking about a country where the average person, minimum wage is trash. The average person is earning, say, under $1 a day?
Yes, no.
Under $1 a day. This is a poor country. People are living in poverty.
Poverty capital of the world.
It's the poverty. You want to believe it or not. When Trump called you a shithole, it wasn't lying. Nigeria is a shithole. Now, you then have to look at it critically. So if event promoters, I might not be able to properly monetize tickets. I might not be able to properly, the way I'm going to make my money is probably the vendors I'm going to list out stores to, and the sponsors are going to put some money in it. That's probably where I'm going to make my money. And that's if I'm lucky to get the video or Whiskey. What if I want to do a show with some other artists? How am I going to monetize them? Bro, how? You then look at it this way, because what they are doing is they're doing like hotels, they're doing Landmark Beach, they're doing rare, no problem, right? But bro, do you want to compare that to a proper show in the US? Do you want to compare that to a proper show, even if it's a theater show? Can I continue?
Yeah, continue.
Even though it's a theater, right? It's not an arena, so it's theater, arena, stadium, right? Even if it's a theater show, I'm 33,000 sold out tickets. People are purchasing the fucking tickets. At least maybe I said 2,000.
Months before.
Bro,
months before.
If maybe I said 2,700, I give out 300 for free. Let's just say that. But bro, ticket sales start from like $250. Like for people, I was talking to, shout out to Osita Oge, that's Duke Concepts. I'm selling out front row seat for maybe $250. I'm selling it all the way to people at the back for maybe $20. That means I can afford to pay artists and still make a profit. Nigerian promoters can't.
Yeah.
They can't afford to spend the same amount of money that maybe a promoter in the foreign country can pay Whiskey when it comes here. It's not possible. And that means that a Nigerian artist, it's only reasonable for them to go out where they can make money. Where they can make bread. Burna did an arena show of 17,000 at Hollywood, bro. Shout out to Burna Boy, by the way. 17,000. Bro, they are doing it with David. All of them have been doing it in the UK, but they did it in the US, right? Bro, if I'm going to do arena show here for 17,000 people, every time, where's security problems?
A lot. Everybody is coming to just Lagos,
Bro.
Abuja. I think Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Those are the
security. Even when this is up, we hear stories of rape, robbery. Every time, every December, we hear the stories. If you can guarantee the safety of the people that perform, can you guarantee the safety of the attendees? No. So okay, it's not that Wiz cannot do. Okay, if that means in Nigeria, if I have to do a show, I have to charge people higher money, and that means purchasing power is going to affect that. So if I say I want to go to Teslim Balogun and do a show of like say what's capacity, maybe 35,000, bros, insecurity is a big problem.
Yeah.
So why then would Nigerian artists not perform outside the country? Why? Why would they not perform outside the country that they perform here? Because you are not paying me, you can't guarantee my security, you can't give me proper infrastructures. Why would I tour locally in the country? And it's not the Nigerian thing alone. It's not a Nigerian phenomenon alone that Nigerian artists are not touring locally. Look at it this way. The biggest, I was shooting the top tours, the highest grossing tours ever in the world. I've seen 300 stops, 160 tours, 160 stops. Most of those stops are not in the US, bro. No. It's not a Nigerian thing alone. Touring, what's the purpose of touring? Touring is number one, a way to give people a different experience of your music. And number two is to reach, it's an outreach to your fans. It's a bridge to establish relationship. Music gets a different experience in your mind when you see it performed live. Look at what, even though A Day in the Life of Wizkid wasn't live, the fact that people saw Wizzy perform made in Lagos, songs were made in Lagos live, it gave them a different experience. It gave the album mileage in people's minds. It gave people a different perception of Wizkid.
Even on the album itself, because at the time when the album came out, there were a lot of people didn't understand the sound, so they were not endeared to the album. But until that A Day in the Life of Wizkid, where everybody was stuck to YouTube trying to watch everything, then people were like, okay, this song is not that bad. When they were seeing the whole transition from one record to the other, you know.
Bro, that's what performances do, because nothing beats live performance, especially with a band that is in sync.
Shout out to Beyonce, Afro, Coachella.
Bro, the best performer in the world over the past 30 of this generation, of this era. One of the greatest ever. Quote me anywhere. And that's facts only. Bro, so these artists tour outside the US as well, even in the US, where they can have Live Nation, Michael Rapino can give Drake $40 million to tour for his first tour, whatever, right? They still tour outside the country because it's the reasonable thing to do, because my music is getting consumed outside of the US as well. So I can do my show outside the US as well. I have to do it. But guess what? Even in some of these countries, it comes to the grade of artists. So a lot of big artists need to go out of the country, but the smaller artists can do local tours. Ross, Tech Nine, Wiz Khalifa, they can afford to perform local tours, small theaters in maybe Pennsylvania, and be able to make a healthy living for 3 years. Ross used to do it. Ross, the rapper, used to do local tours and he'll make a healthy money off it. But in Nigeria, if it comes to the smaller artists, when it comes to Nigeria, even the smaller artists can't afford to do it because nobody can put money behind it. Because you are still not making money on the big artists. How you make money on the smaller artists? At the end of the day, it's not about good or bad. It's not about what is this or what is that. It's just about business, what is right and what is wrong. And that's facts only.